Hello and welcome. This is Wendy with loveandstampin.com. I'm so excited that you're here. We are going to do a color splash. So we're using Daffodil Delight and Crushed Curry. And we're going to start with the Lots of Heart bundle, but we are making 3 cards today. So you're going to kind of see bits and pieces of this whole process because I don't think it's necessary to show you every card front to back, beginning to end. And I do want to mention that some of my Instagram followers voted on what we would use today. So if you are not already following me on Instagram, I would encourage you to do so. So we're going to start. I've already cut out in Crushed Curry the scalloped edge from the Lots of Heart bundle. And then I'm taking another heart, putting it in the center and cutting it out. And I actually do that 3 times so that I have a really strong frame built up around the edges of one of my interlocking pieces. So I want to give full credit to the inspiration for this video, which was Jennifer McGuire. She did quite some time ago video on interlocking gatefold cards, and it just struck me and I was like, I want to do that. So really quick, I want to show you this tip. If you layer these 2 together, the one you've already die cut and then the one you haven't, and slip the die cut into the center like so, then tape it down and run it through your die cut machine. You will cut the center heart exactly the same way you cut the first one. This is important, and that's why I showed it in the video. This is important because when you go to stack or layer all 3 of these frame pieces, the scallop frame pieces together, if you didn't die cut them all exactly the same, you're going to have edges that poke out and stick out. They won't line up correctly. So that's how you do that. And you want to do that as many times as you want. For me, 3 was perfect. So then I'm just going to stack all 3 of these together like this and glue them together. And that will create a really strong, solid piece because we are making an interlocking design. So you want that piece to be strong and solid. 1 wouldn't have been enough. Okay, so next we're going to actually make the gatefold piece. So I'm using a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock here. It's basic white, and I'm scoring it at 2 1/8 from each end. And so you just flip it around, score it at 2 1/8, and then fold it and burnish the edges to get a nice fold. I will say on this cardstock, I noticed after I scored it and folded it that it had an area on it. You can actually kind of see it there on the left side right now under my hand. There's an area that is like messed up. I don't know what happened to that piece of cardstock. So I ended up cutting a brand new piece. First, I tried to fix it right here and it wasn't going to fix it. So I ended up cutting a brand new piece of cardstock and going with that because I couldn't get this piece to lay nice. So I was originally going to edit this part of the video out because I felt like there was no need for you to see it. However, after I thought about it more, I thought I'm going to leave it in so that I can explain to you that with any sort of fun fold card, gate folds, any kind of fold, it's really important for your card base to be really accurate. If it's not cut accurately and scored accurately, and here I'm still trying to fix it, but that never does work. If it's never cut and scored accurately to begin with, you're going to have a hard time getting things to fold and go together well. And for me, craftsmanship is really important. So I want everything to fold and go together really well. Okay, so while I was off camera, I did a few assembly pieces, and there are dimensions for all of this over on my blog, and there's a link below the video. So if you want dimensions for every single card design, they are over there. Off the top of my head, though, I can remember that the Daffodil Delight pieces that you see on the front panels are cut at 2 inches by 5 3/8. And then the designer series paper pieces right here, which is True Love designer series paper, is cut at 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Throughout this entire video, you're going to see me shake that glue bottle incessantly, and I have to just do a quick explanation, probably something you wouldn't have even noticed, but I am completely out of Tombow mono adhesive, and I cannot believe it. I've never run out, and it was just an error in the fact that I haven't placed an order for it in such a long time because I had a whole bunch of them on hand. So I'm ordering that this week to replace that, but I'm working with just the little tiny bit of glue that I have left in this particular bottle. So if you see me shaking it throughout the video, now you know why. Okay, this is a trick that I learned from the one and only Jennifer McGuire, and basically I'm just going to use tape to make sure that I know what side to put my glue on. Now for a heart, honestly, I really didn't need to do this because a heart has two defining areas that show you that it is where the middle is. But like in the other card you're going to see for circles, rectangles, stuff like that, there is no defining point like there is a heart. So you do need to do something to let yourself know which side to put the glue on. You would only obviously want to glue one side. This is part of your interlocking feature. So if you were to put glue on both sides, it would just glue the card shut, which you could do some sort of fun pocket card with that. But the idea here is that we want one side to open and one side to close, or you know what I'm saying. So then I have two basic black hearts that I die cut and a little frame piece here, and we're going to adhere those, and then we're going to adhere those to the center of the card as well, but on the opposite side. So you'll see when I get to that point. All right, I have not voiceovered a video and done a story time video in quite some time, at least not in this style. So in this video, I am going to try to pop back and forth between some story time and sharing this card design with you. So here's what's going on in our world right now. My husband has been working absolutely insane hours. On Tuesday of this week, a storm rolled into Northern California. So if you are not familiar, Northern California is a lot different than Southern California, where their weather is pretty much the same all the time. I mean, they do have some variation, but it's not like that in Northern California. We have 4 seasons here, and we definitely get some weather that's different. I wouldn't say totally crazy weather, because I know those of you that live in the Midwest and East Coast get some pretty insane stuff. But for us in California, it was pretty crazy. So we had like 30-mile-per-hour winds, which again, for a lot of you, you're going to be like, that doesn't sound like a big deal. The thing is, if you live in like the Midwest in the plains, I'm sure you're used to really high gusty winds, but you don't have the trees. The problem with where we live is the trees. So we have a ton of trees, and particularly in the Sacramento area, trees are everywhere. So my husband is a lineman. He's a power lineman. And so when the power goes out, he is working. And so we had the storm roll in on Tuesday, and Wednesday morning he went to work at 6 a.m. and he got home at, we're on to the next card, by the way. And I'm going to show you all 3 of the cards completely finished at the very end. But I really wanted to show, oh, here I'm pairing the Enjoy the Moment set with the Dandy Garden dies. So those dies actually go with the Dandy Garden or Dandy Wishes stamp set. And so I just wanted to show you really quick that I'm pairing totally different dies. And you might notice my nail polish is gone. That is because I recorded half of this video one night and the rest the next morning. Today, actually, when I'm uploading it. We'll get back to why things are so crazy. So anyway, he went to work Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. and didn't get home from work until 4:30 a.m. on Thursday morning. He slept till noon, got back up and went back to work and had to be at work at 2:30. Worked from 2:30 on Thursday afternoon until 2:30 on Friday afternoon, so 24 hours. Got home, went to bed, and got back up and showered, just so everybody's clear on that. And got back up and went back to work at 1:30 a.m. this morning, because I'm recording this video on Saturday. And I stayed up with him, or I stayed up until he woke up so that I wouldn't disturb him sleeping. I didn't want to go get in the bed and disturb him. So he got up about midnight, and my daughter and I both stayed up to snuggle him and kiss him and hug him before he left again. And he probably won't be back home until tomorrow. So we've been living in that storm work realm for days now, and we are all exhausted. Like, he's obviously the most exhausted of us. But okay, really quick, back to the cards. These card bases are cut at 6x7 and then scored at 2 inches. So you cut 2 of them 6x7 and then score them both at the 2-inch mark on the 6-inch side. Then you layer them together and they make one gatefold card. So this is a fun size because the finished size is 4x7. Okay, so anyway, it has just been crazy. So when one person in a household has like erratic sleep, it creates kind of like everybody has that, at least in our household. We have a very small house. Our house is only about 1,280 square feet, something like that. And so we're very close in proximity to each other. I know some people have really big homes, and so you probably could go into your bedroom and go to sleep and never know what's happening in the living room or the dining room or whatever. But in our case, that is not the situation. We hear everything, and our house sits up. It's not like on a concrete foundation on the ground. So when people run through the house or walk through the house or somebody drops something, you hear it in every room. It's like it echoes through the floor. So not only is our sleep crazy, but then my daughter and I work really hard at accommodating his sleep pattern. So we try to be super quiet to not disturb his sleep. So it's just very tiring. And then the other thing is we just make sure that all the food that he needs is prepped and ready to go. We make sure that his clothes are laundered and dry for the next time he goes out. So we're doing all that stuff while he's sleeping, but trying to do it very quietly. So anyway, all of that is just to kind of explain like where I've been, what's been going on. I've been sharing a lot on Instagram and Facebook, but you haven't seen me here with my color splash on Friday. Normally I have this video up for you on a Friday, and when I'm uploading it, it's a Saturday. Here I'm using the blending brushes from Stampin UP, which I love. I've gotten plenty of them so that I could have one for every single color, and I've labeled them. I did make labels that I had actually like 22 sheets of labels. I've sold a few. So if you want a sheet of the labels, they're $7.95, and there is a link below the video if you want to purchase them. They're really simple. You could do it yourself, but I know some people would just rather buy it than spend the time doing it themselves. And I did actually go back and make labels for other colors that are retired. So it's all on one sheet, and you would just get it in the mail from me. Like, I'll mail it out. So here I'm using Crushed Curry and Daffodil Delight, and I'm pairing them together so that it's a little bit darker on one end than the other. But this is just a fun little technique to kind of have a gradient or ombre-ish look. It's not very strong. Like, I wish that I would have actually gone over it even a little bit more on the top portion to darken it so that you could really see the difference in the two colors. But it is what it is. And at the end, you don't even notice. Here's what's funny about this card. I had this really fun idea for this card where I would do this background stamping, and then I had already die cut these black, like, dandelion weed looking things. They're a die cut from this set, from the die cut set. And I die cut them and had them ready to go. And so my idea was going to be to background stamp all over these panels and then to add those wispy weed looking die cuts. And I totally forgot about them. So I was so disappointed. So in the video here, you don't see me adding those, but then at the end, I ended up adding a couple of them to the bottom of the panel. So you can see that at the end of this video when I show you all of the pieces. Okay, so if you're new here, you might be like, why is this woman telling me, first of all, if you've lasted 15 minutes into this video, congratulations. But you also might be thinking, why is this woman telling me all of this stuff about her personal life? And that's just how my channel is. So if you don't like that, we get it. We're cool. Everybody who's part of the community here totally understands that you may not want to hear about my personal life. But this is kind of my way of vlogging and talking about what's going on in our lives. And so if you don't like it, that's okay. We're cool with it. No need to leave a nasty comment about it. You can just move along. All right. So the other stuff that's happening there. Okay, my sister-in-law moved in next door to us, so that's been exciting and fun. My brother-in-law owned the house, her brother, and then he sold it to her, so he moved. So she now lives next door, and she has kids, and so my daughter is extremely excited to have her cousins living next door. And then what else is happening? Those of you who have asked, I've mentioned I had a family member who got COVID and we were in quarantine. We're out of quarantine. We had no problems, no incidences. The family member that had COVID is totally fine and doing well. So that's exciting and happy news. Here I'm just adding a panel to the inside of this card because, again, it's black. So you can't really see writing on black. So here I got frustrated with that glue and finally switched to Stampin' Seal. Yeah, I don't know why I've been on a kick with the glue. Stampin' Seal works perfectly fine, but for some reason I just always grab my glue. Okay, so I'm just going to add this and then I'm going to stamp a little image on the bottom of it. And I just wanted to show you that the center of this had to be covered up because it was black. And then I'm going to show you how to create the interlocking piece on the front. Other news, other things happening. Let's see. There was something else I was going to tell you and now I know. We are remodeling our house. So I feel a little bit weird about sharing this just because I know there are so many people right now struggling to survive, make ends meet, and all of that. And so I would never want to be insensitive and be like, oh, here's what we're doing. And I don't know. I just struggle with it and don't want to ever come across as being an insensitive person. But the truth is that we have worked really, really hard for a really long time, and we have waited for a really long time to do stuff to the inside of our house. Now, we did a ton of stuff to the outside of our house over the last 2.5 years. Our house, when we moved into it, it was built in 1970s, early 1970s. And when we moved into it, it was pretty gnarly condition. But we got a screaming deal on it because it would belong to my husband's grandparents, and his mom and dad sold us the house. So we got a really great deal on the house, and we knew that we would just spend our lives fixing it up. So our goal is to have our house completely remodeled and fixed up and comfortable to live in by the time my husband retires, which is about 10 years from now. So that being said, it's not 10 years. It's 12 years. Anyways, So here you can see I'm using that technique again with the tape down the middle, and I used it also as a handle to kind of pick this up and down. That is a really easy way to adhere stuff to a project. And I wanted to make sure that I only adhered the glue on the one side. So anyway, we've done a ton of stuff around the outside of the house. We painted the house. We built a huge back porch, wraparound deck. We got an above ground swimming pool. We built my studio last year. So we've been doing all of these things to basically improve the value of our home, but also just make our home the way we want it. Because when we moved into it, there was like different remnant shag carpeting in every room. And again, I'm not complaining. I want to make that perfectly clear. We were so blessed and grateful to get the opportunity to purchase this home. But it was old and a lot of the stuff was outdated and some of the stuff was a little bit honky-tonked on the inside, let's put it that way. So it had different shag remnant type carpeting in every bedroom. There were actually holes in the carpet in the living room and just different things like that. And so we started working on it when we got married and doing some of those things. But the outside, we really didn't do much to because we just couldn't afford it. So over the years, as we've been able to afford more and do more, we've just pecked away at improvements on the house. So now the outside of the house is gorgeous. It looks updated and modern and like it belongs in the year 2021. And then you walk inside the house and it's like you've walked back in time to 1973. It might not be that bad. My decorations are pretty great, and we did replace all the flooring years ago before we had our daughter because I was like, my kid cannot crawl around on these floors. They were really bad. And so we replaced the flooring years ago, but now it's time for like some hardcore remodeling. So that was card number 2, by the way. Here we are on card number 3. We're almost done. We're using the Circle Celebration stamp set, and with this interlocking card, we are going to actually make the interlocking piece quite a bit smaller. So on the other 2 cards, the pieces fit together perfectly, like the piece that interlocked into the other piece fit together perfectly, where this card, the circle that's going to interlock on the inside is actually significantly smaller than the piece that's the frame. So I just decided to cut Daffodil Delight cardstock. Oh, by the way, this piece is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 2 3/4 of an inch at both ends. So here I'm using crushed curry ink on top of Daffodil Delight cardstock, and I'm just stamping some of the random circle images that I think are really pretty, and this will create the background for my card. So inside, we are actually going to go from a 3-bedroom, 1-bath to a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We've decided that giving up 1 bedroom would be worth gaining a bathroom because we only have 1 bathroom and it's kind of miserable. And as our daughter gets older, she is it's going to become more and more of a problem. Now, could we live our whole lives with 1 bathroom? Absolutely. We've been doing it for 15 years and we've been completely fine. But ultimately, we would like to have a 2nd bathroom so that, first, we would like to have our own private bathroom. And then second, not having a 2nd bathroom has definitely presented its problems over the years. And we have a swimming pool now, so we would also like to have a bathroom that is really easily accessible off the back of the house so that when people use the swimming pool, they can just go right into the restroom there rather than traipsing through like the whole house. So anyway, that's the scoop with that. And we are going to be doing that big remodel in June. But we got a message from the contractor who is doing the job, and they sent us all the specs and information, and I am just getting so stinking excited about it now. Like, it's been so far off. We started planning this in September, I think, of last year. And so it's been so far off that it just has kind of felt like, whenever it happens, or like almost like it wasn't going to happen. It didn't seem real that it was going to happen. So now that it's getting so close, um, I'm like getting super thrilled about it. So anyway, I've created some Pinterest boards. If you follow me on Pinterest, you can go look at my bathroom remodel board and see those. So what we're doing is we're basically using a spare bedroom to create 2 bathrooms. So, and we're creating a bigger closet for us. So it's almost like we will have a master bed, master bath suite, and then a second guest bath. So the guest bath will have a really small shower, just kind of like a stand-up shower, and it'll be pretty narrow and small. Like it's not going to be very big at all. And that was really the only way that we could make things work. But my daughter is so excited about having her own bathroom because we're going to put all her own stuff in there. And even though it's the guest bath, it'll be her bathroom and then when we have guests over, they can use it. But and then our bathroom, we're getting standing shower, but it'll be bigger, and they're going to drop the subfloor so that there'll be no lip because, as most of you know, I have significant back problems, or injury, a previous injury. And so we're just looking forward to the future that in the event that either one of us were, in need of wheelchair accessibility, which, that's a real thing that can happen as you age. We just want it to be available. We want it to be big enough and open enough that wouldn't be a problem. Back to the card. This is my favorite card. Of all 3 of the cards that I made, this one is my favorite. I love the colors. I love the design. I love this card. So I really want to hear from you and know which one is your favorite card, because I would love to. I don't know. I'm always interested in knowing what people, what they like. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, so that's the scoop with the new renovations that are going to go on. They'll start in June. So life will be totally crazy because we're going to have to order a porta potty and have it outside of our house. And we're going to have to move our bed to our dining room and sleep in the dining room. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, there's no doubt it's going to be interesting, but they have promised us it will not take longer than 6 weeks. So I know what you're all going to say. I know you're going to be like, you better prepare for 8 weeks, or you better prepare for 12 weeks or whatever. But this contractor is kind of like a Chip and Joanna Gaines type people. They come in, they only book your job. They come in and they do it super fast. So it's not like they have a bunch of different jobs that they're going to like normal contractors. The husband is the contractor and he's the one that does the work, and the wife is the design person. So she does a bunch of the design stuff and it's really fun. So right now, by the way, in the video, if you're like, where are you? Why aren't you doing anything? It's because I'm trying to pick a sentiment. So anyway, that's what's happening in our lives. That's what's going on. I am supposed to go to Maui in May. Some of you may remember that I was supposed to go last year, but because of COVID, it was canceled. And so they've moved the event to this year. And this is a Stampin' UP trip that I earned thanks to my amazing customers and team members. And so it'll be me, my best friend Laura, and my daughter who will get to go. So I'm really hoping that happens. So we've been talking about that some and looking forward to that as like a brighter day, something to look forward to during all this craziness. And then that's about it. I mean, there's really not a super ton else happening or going on. That's kind of a lot, actually. I mean, I was able to fill you in on pretty much everything that's happening. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. yeah, no, there's nothing else. Our chickens are laying eggs again. That's nice because they had like pretty much stopped laying eggs for quite a long time. And we've had all this crazy weather, so there's a good chance that they won't be laying again here for a while. But that's been really nice, getting nice farm fresh chicken eggs for quite some time now. And I've been making a yummy, yummy, yummy frittata. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, I share all that kind of stuff there. So I'll make sure to link below my Instagram and Facebook in case you're not already following me there. But yeah, so look at this card. This is my favorite one. I love this one. So the interlocking piece is a lot smaller, so it is easier to go together. So here's all three, all completely finished, and you can see on the little B card, I'm calling it the B card, the slimline card up there, I added a little B, and I added the little black die cut pieces down there at the bottom. Now my original idea was to have those die cut pieces kind of going all up and down this card, but I forgot to put them on. And then you saw me finish this one. Really, really simple and cute. Love all three of these. And the color combination is very happy and joyful. And happy and joyful is my jam. Isn't it yours? It should be yours. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching and sticking with me. If you're here till the very end, congratulations, you deserve some sort of award. I don't have one for you, but you deserve one. You can click either one of the links here to watch another video, shop with me at shoploveandstampin.com, and visit me again soon. Talk to you later. Bye.